I'm Bob again. You're gonna get so sick of seeing me. Okay, all right. Remarks I see now and then. Okay, what's taking so long? We haven't seen anything going on there. What's the matter with you guys? Are you really gonna build this hotel? Okay, I'm done here today. Let me try and explain something to you. All the video you see on our Coco Palms YouTube page, Coco Palms Resort, Kaua'i, everything that they did during demolition, and they took down a whole lot. Well, once they took down a lot of these buildings, they're all of a sudden left with something totally different. And now you got to start over on design work. So, what I'm going to do today, okay, is take my old fancy-dancy iPhone camera, and I'm going to drive through what's left. Now, once the buildings came down, now you got to design all the new buildings that are going to go into this. So the first ones I'm going to drive through are the Ali'i 1 and 2 and the Shell building. And then there's the lobby. I'll film that from up above because I can't get my car into the lobby because it's a big hole in the ground. So, okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around here, see how that works. And then first thing you're going to see is where the King's building used to be, okay? And the King's building was actually taken down in 2016. The King's building and the annex to it, they're heavily damaged in Hurricane Iniki. So let me switch this because my car is now sitting where the King's building used to be. Hold on, switch it, Bob, switch that camera. Okay, so we were just talking about the King's building. So I am at the north end of the property, okay? The north end of the lagoon. And this is exactly where the King's building, the main building was. It was a 3-story building. Hurricane Iniki did a lot of damage, especially to the 3rd story. Now, this building just sat here for years. And then in 2016, pardon me, they finally took it down. But it was right here at the north end of the lagoon, built so that you could see up the lagoon. And there was a bridge here. You see what's left of it right there. That was called the King's Bridge. And then it went across the lagoon to the Coconut Palace restaurant and then the Queen's Hall. And then you look farther up, there's another bridge that came out of the Queen's Hall and went across the lagoon to Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2. So this is where the main 3-story King's building was. And then we'll walk along where the foundation was, because it was 2 structures, okay? So the main 3-story King's building faced south, faced down the lagoon, okay? And then you would go around the corner here. And then this is where the annex to the King's building was. I have pictures of those, and when I put this video together, I think I'll insert those pictures so you can see what the King's buildings looked like back then. Okay, so this is where the annex was, right here. And it was only 2 stories. And Iniki did a bunch of damage to it too. And I'll insert a picture of the annex. One time, oh my gosh, I was walking on the second story. The annex building was only 2 stories. I was walking, checking rooms in the annex building. I walked in a room, I fell right to the floor. Boomy, ended up down on the first floor. I was still alive. But this is where the annex building, okay? So, right here and along here was the King's building. And I'm sure they're gonna rebuild those. Okay, that's the King's building. The next one we'll be looking at is Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2. And I think I'll just walk through the garage with that one. Okay, now we're gonna go down into the garage, if I can get my car to go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm turning down now. If I were to be looking to the right there is where the annex to the King's building was. But right across from the King's building would have been Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2. This by far the biggest building on the property. 3 stories of rooms, plus this garage, which I'm turning into right now, was underneath it. All right, so when I say these structures are being rebuilt in the footprint of the old buildings, well, right now I am in a footprint, okay? And that's where so much of the design work comes in. I mean, they got to design these buildings to fit in the footprint. So I'm driving through that garage now, okay? Down here were a lot of the like the laundry rooms and the laundry machines and all the stuff to wash the bedding in the laundry that the hotel needed. Plus there was a guest laundry down here. Okay, so we were just in the south end of the Ali'i building. Now we're in the north end of the Ali'i building. And under the north end was the fish wing, and of course I mentioned the other end was the frog wing. So this is what the garage looks like under the south end of it. And so again, this building's got to be designed just to fit over this footprint too. Okay. So this whole thing from this south end to the north end was Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2. Okay, speaking of the lobby, here we are. Only we are underneath where the lobby was. This was all storage area. This was right here. This was the kitchen for the main dining room. But you can see that the lobby was held up by all these stilts here. And so the lobby in 2014 burned, and the whole lobby was up above us here, okay? So, again, an incredible amount of design work that's got to be done to rebuild this lobby. Behind the lobby was the main dining room, okay? This was storage, etc. And then up above this was the lobby. That's where you checked in. Then across the way, that was the retail building. And then this bridge, you see that bridge up here? That bridge would come right into the lobby. Had a beautiful staircase that came down to the lobby floor. So you could stand up there and just look down into the lobby and see what was going on. Or you'd drive under that bridge and stop your car and get out, walk up the steps and walk into the lobby. So all this, an enormous amount of work that's got to be done, and is being done. It's just taking time, you know. They really couldn't start on the final phase of it until they knocked everything down and see what was left. And that's what's been going on, okay? This is not an easy job. It's not an overnight job. And God bless the people who are taking this on and doing it. Okay, so here we go, underneath the lobby. Yay! Okay, so what I'm doing now, I am gonna drive on the south side of where the lobby was. And I'm going down this walkway here. You can see right in front of me here, you remember where they used to cook the meats, the pigs and turkeys and roasts and everything? And they used to cook it right here. Hey, see my finger? They used to cook them right in there, outdoors, on wood fires. And that's still here. And it'll be restored, and that's they're gonna do a lot of the cooking again. Okay, but what we're coming down to now, we're beside the lobby, we're next to where the lobby was. Here's the center bridge. You remember the torch lighting, okay? So, when they would do the torch lighting ceremony, from behind me where I just drove, the torch runners would come running across, come across this bridge, and there'd be a canoe coming up the lagoon with a torch in it. And then the torch runners would come across, and all these pots were out there along the lagoon shoreline. And they'd be twirling their torches and lighting the torches. Now, if I were to turn left here, this was the Lagoon Terrace Lounge. And then right at the end of it, right, okay, where the wall is up there, that was the Queen's Restaurant. Okay. But right on, let me get my finger out here again. Okay, right here, right there was a stage there. And that's where Uncle Larry Rivera, after his main show in the main dining room, would come on this little stage, normally by himself, and do a show called Nightcap with Larry, The Drinks Are On You. Okay, now, above me, there used to be suites above this restaurant, okay? And what they're called? I think the okay, I'll think about it in a minute, what the suites were called up there. But that whole roof has been taken down. All those suites were taken down. The Palm Suites. Okay, they were called the Palm Suites. I'm sitting here looking at thousands of palm trees. Yeah, and forget the name of the suites. Anyway, so all those are going to be rebuilt, okay? But let me back up a bit, and then we're going to drive into the main restaurant. Okay, so to my right here, where I'm turning, this was called the Lagoon Dining Room. And again, above it were more of the Palm Suites. So all that stuff, all above us and everything, especially at this end, it all burned in that fire. So the same fire that burned the lobby burned the Palm Suites above us, above this dining room. Okay? Well, we're going down here to the end. Because I come down here a lot because I got my pals that I feed. Elvis and Priscilla, the black-crowned night herons that live here. All right, this is the last big building. This was the Shell building, also another large room building, had about 100 rooms in it. This was actually the last room building built in the property. Kind of didn't get open until the early 80s. This is the first building they tore down. So if you watch some of the demolition videos on our channel, you'll see this is the first building that came down. Had this garage underneath it, again, for parking and security, etc. So this is the basement of the Shell building. Again, more design work has to be done to determine, okay, how's the building going to fit in this garage here? Okay, so that's just something else to got to be done. Okay, so I think I filmed about everything you need to know right now. Don't stress about it. These people are into this hotel. They are going to build it. And I am so excited to see it when it's done. And they are excited to get it done too. So, aloha. Hey, thanks for watching this that I'm putting together for you. Take care. Bye. Yeah, oh yeah. In case you forgot, my name's Bob. Bye-bye.